Shalom, shalom. It's a bit choppy out here. Shalom, shalom. Bear with me for a moment. All right. All right. We give all the honor, glory, and praises to Yahawah, Hashem, YAHAWASHI, Hashem, RAWACHAA, QADASH. Double honor to my elders like Great Millstone, talking the truth through the Spirit. Giving honor to the elect. Peace and blessings be to all the sincere men, women, and children. You consist of the 1/3. And to the confusion of faces in the four corners of the earth. Shalom, shalom. Yeah, due to hurricanes and the change in my schedule, man, I can't believe I actually missed camp last week in Salakia. I'm trying to make it up, but as long as I come out and keep doing the word, that's all that matters the most. Understanding. Forgive me. The prophecy is everything, We can't get sidetracked. Like they have movies like the Book of Clarence coming out. You have these fake pastors out here saying that the Jacob's trouble is not what we're depicting it to be. We have other camps out here that's not talking about the charagma being the biochip. We have all the other camps out here that want to do photo shoots for magazines and things of that nature. But the true prophets of the Lord are going to bring forth his prophecies and things that are to come, things that are happening and things that have happened. That's the whole purpose of the matter, right? The purpose of us coming out here is to warn the people, which would be the elect, and to also make ourselves living sacrifices so that in that day of redemption that we're found worthy to have a seat on the chariot, right? So that's the most important thing. Shalom, shalom. YAHAWASHI, YASHARAHLA, QADASH. All right? That's the most important thing. So, World War III, America's Babylon the Great, it shall be biblically cleansed with nuclear fire. Now, we know this is prophecy, but there's more to come. But with that being said, I have an article here from express.co.uk. Nuclear war inevitable conclusion of Putin's Ukraine invasion, warns top Russian general. All right? We're talking about going nuclear. It says, for the transition to the use of weapons of mass destruction, only one thing is needed. A political decision by the Supreme Commander-in-Chief, Vladimir Putin. Now it says only one thing is needed. But remember, the Lord, he ruleth in the kingdom of men. All right, the Lord going to put the spirit on them to do this. This is Daniel chapter 4, verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers. We're the watchers. And the demand by the word of the holy ones. It's not just our words at all. That's just not even our words. It's the Lord's word. All right, shalom, shalom, laquam. Yahawah Yahawashah, Hashem HaKadosh Barakatah to you. Okay, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the faces of men. So the Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men. I.e., you got Esau, Edom, the violence of the earth, ruling over us. That's to go to show the Lord's power. That he is the Father of spirits. I will raise up the spirit of the wicked over you, just to show my disdain towards you. Yet repent and come back unto me. So even the Lord is at war with his own people right now. Exodus 15:3. The Lord, Yahawah, is a man of war. Yahawah is his name. Now going back to that article. It says he added the goals of Russia and the goals of the West are their survival and historical eternity. That would say the historical eternity. This also go back to biblical prophecy, how they think that their kingdom is going to go on forever. No, it's not. This is Psalms 49:11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They called their lands after their own names. America comes from Amerigo Vespucci. All right, the Latin navigator. Africa get its name from Leo's Scipio Africanus, Roman general that was defeated by Hannibal in the Second Punic War, and Asia come from Asian Atticus, which is also another Edomite name. So they name these countries and lands after their own name, and they think that their generation going to go on forever. But the Lord got a trick for them, man. Job 14:5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So every great kingdom has come to a great fall as well. Back to the article, and this means that in the name of this, all means of armed struggle available to them will be used, including such a tool as nuclear weapons, right? Nuclear weapons. And the reason why I'm bringing this out, because we can't forget that though the news speaks about nuclear weapons, though the news speaks about BRICS components were once American allies and still are, and that they're now joining BRICS to get rid of the dollar, things of that nature. You got to remember, man, all things must be done decently in order. Still got Jacob's trouble. Still got the digital system of Faragna. But for them to be talking about one of the finalizing prophecies to bring down America and then to uplift Israel, called YAHAWAH, this is going to show you how close we are to our captivity being over. What's that in Romans 13:10 or 13:11? Seeing that it's high time to rise up out of sleep. Okay. Now going back to the nuclear fire, the Lord created that. Hence, this is Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. The Lord created the waster to destroy. He given man the wisdom, right? Because even the movie Oppenheimer, it goes to show you how that the wisdom that they have obtained came from the Lord. So when you go into the book of Obadiah, it speaks about, what's up, man? All right. When you go into the book of Obadiah, it speaks about the wise men of Teman. The Temanites go back to the Germans. So who were those nuclear physicists? There were Germans. I.e., you got to go back to the war with Adolf Hitler. Okay, that's where they got those scientists from. Russia got some scientists. America got some scientists. So the man that created the atomic bomb is also the one that created the waster to destroy, Robert Oppenheimer. Now, this is also an excerpt I took from out of the internet. The father of the atomic bomb. That's another name they gave Oppenheimer. The scientist was a modern Prometheus, and that, like the legendary figure of Greek mythology, he was punished for stealing fire from the gods. In short, the fire that Oppenheimer stole from the gods was the knowledge, okay, to create weapons of mass destruction. Let's read the brother Naquan precept. Isaiah 26:5. For he bringeth down them that dwelleth on high, the lofty city, he layeth it low, even to the ground. He bringeth it even to the dust. Exactly. Everyone talks about the hanging gardens. Everybody talk about how great Egypt was. You know they keep referring to past tense, how great these kingdoms were, right? Just like how everyone said America streets was paved with gold prior to the industrial period. Go and look at New York now. New York is also known as the Empire State. That's the state that it built its empire on. Going back to the bonds in the New York Stock Exchange, NYSE, the first bonds were actually us as slaves. Hence the word bondsman and bondswoman. The first stock on the stock market was actually us. So look at the Empire State of America. It's filth. It's all fields, and it reminds you of Petra with all those buildings. That's why they refer to New York as the concrete jungle. The Lord will bring all that down to the ground. All right. So getting back to it, he warned, "I am sure that nuclear weapons will be used in this war, inevitably, and from the neither we nor the enemy have nowhere to go." So he's saying that nuclear war is inevitable, but when it happens, we have nowhere to go. Exactly. You're not going to be able to escape. 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 22. "For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." So though a lot of them are going to perish from starvation. Majority of the people are going to die from starvation and from sickness, right? And mainly from sickness as well, because they don't have an adequate nutritional diet, right? So they're going to die from starvation. So those who escape, you're not going to escape the sword. So let's say you get in trouble, you go through near death, you find water, you find food, you find medical kit, you have a small trusted militia, and y'all think y'all just gonna live it out like The Walking Dead, or like the Book of Eli, or like I Am Legend days, or like The Road, just gonna live it like that, live your life like that for the rest of your existence. No. The imminent destruction is gonna come, man. Jeremiah 51:29. "And the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon." Exactly. "To make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant." Exactly. Without an inhabitant. And also in this article, they were talking about training troops and civilians how to survive after a nuclear attack. Ain't no survive after a nuclear attack. Because after you have the mushroom cloud, you're going to have something known as fallout. There's a game actually called Fallout where they show you surviving after some kind of nuclear or some kind of catastrophic destruction. And that fallout is debris that falls back down to the earth. And you can't inhale that, and you can't plant seeds because it's going to seep down into the soil, and that soil is going to become contaminated. And in addition, from the nuclear fallout, you have something known as a nuclear winter. And when you have a nuclear winter, you won't be able to have any strength from the rays of the sun to help penetrate the earth to help grow vegetation. And then when you block out the sun, guess what that causes? That causes the temperatures to drop. So there's going to be so many obstacles in your way of survival after a nuclear destruction, even if you are to survive it, right? So like you said, yeah, you won't be able to escape this. You won't. Yeah, this is what I was looking for earlier. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 41. "And if I whet my glittering sword, and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies, and will reward them that hate me." What does it say in Proverbs, the 8th chapter, the 36th verse? I think it says, "All those that hate me love death." Because what is the wages of sin? Death. YAHAWASHI said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." So if you hate the Lord, you won't keep the commandments, so then you love death. But going back to Root 4:1, it refers to the Bible as the book of life. Anyone that don't keep the commandments will die. So that's life in the commandments. When we ran away from our heritage to be like the heathen, we got treated like an heathen, right? Let's get back to it. In the article, when he says, "We know the enemy have nowhere to go." Right here. Isaiah 34, verse 1 through 6. "Come near ye nations to hear, and hearken ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all, like all the armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses. And the mountains shall be melted with their blood, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. So this is a vision that Isaiah is seeing. Isaiah is saying all the host of heaven shall be dissolved. Talking about the stars and the sun that you see in the clouds, you won't be able to see it because of that mushroom cloud. What it says, the heaven shall be rolled up like a scroll. All he can envision is a scroll being rolled up, and the way it's rolled up is the way the mushroom cloud starts to form after the ignition, after it being ignited. Okay, and all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. The sword. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Remember, Edom is the people before a place. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. If you look at an ancient map, there will be right there where Jordan is, the land that connects to northeast of Egypt, right, like where the Gulf of Suez and all of that is, right? That's where Idumea and ancient Petra will be. But Idumea and Basra will be America today because of where Esau is. This is where the book of, this is where you can find everyone on the face of the earth at, because this is the melting pot. This is Babylon. You remember the elders say you must know the history, or what if you know the mystery? You go back to ancient Babylon with Nimrod, everyone on the face of the earth was there. Then the Lord confused the languages of the people, and everyone started to disperse. This goes back to Genesis. So we're talking about the beginning of the repopulation of the earth after the flood. So everyone was there during Babylon, ancient Babylon. Same thing right now. If you want to go to one destination on the face of the earth where you can find possibly, virtually, every culture here, America. Every culture will be here in America. They got a Chinatown here. They have communities only for Muslims, only for Arabian people. Hell, the Jews, be quiet, be careful. The Zionists, they have their own community, their own police, their own hospital. There's so many cultures here that can be celebrated. So this is America. This is Babylon the Great, right? Ezekiel 39:21. I will set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment I have executed, and my hand I have laid upon them. Fact. Judgment he's going to execute. Salaki, let me get back. In addition, last week, Russia claimed last month that the country's Sarmat missile system, also known as the Satan II, had been placed on combat duty. So now the Satan II, notice it's called Satan II, is placed on combat duty. The word Satan go back to the word Shaitan, which means an enemy or an adversary. And that's what they've named this rocket. Okay? This ICBM, this intercontinental ballistic missile. Now, what is Satan II ICBM? The Satan II is a behemoth nuclear weapon capable of carrying up to 15 nuclear warheads across the globe. Notice it said globe, so that's an intercontinental ballistic missile. What makes it intercontinental? Think about an intersection that merges major cities. So this missile can interconnect with the continent. Meaning this missile has the trajectory of getting from Russia to New York in like 30 minutes. So that means it can connect with another continent because it has that far of a range. All right, of hitting this target. In 2022, the Federation of American Scientists estimated that Russia possesses around 6,000 nuclear warheads of various sizes. Okay? Let that sink in, y'all. That's crazy. Check this out. Check this out. This is some information I got real quick. It says, according to Sputnik News, the RS-28 Sarmat is Russia's next generation intercontinental ballistic missile that is set to become the backbone of the country's silo-based trajectory deterrent. With its impressive range and destructive power, the Sarmat is considered one of the deadliest nuclear missiles in the world. Notice it says the silo-based deterrent. Remember silos, right? So you know how it'll come up out of the ground and then it'll fire out a rocket. Imagine that silo also being a bow that will push the trajectory of an arrow, because I'm going to go to a parable that's going to refer to the intercontinental ballistic missile. That's why the word is so beautiful, because when you see it, it's like, who can shoot an arrow from one end of the earth? But you have to envision, like Elder Pastor Barnes, you have to be a visionary. You have to envision what the prophets visualized in the future back then, and what they used back then to correlate with what they saw. So when they say he saw one arrow shot from one end of the earth to another, that's not possible. But what can be shot from one end of the earth to another? A missile. Right? So that's how you look at it. And I also refer to fire after the missile. I mean the arrow. Going back. Weighing more than 200 tons. Right? And able to transport multiple warheads, Sarmat is designed to elude anti-missile defense systems with a short initial boost phase, giving enemy surveillance systems a narrow window to track it down. All right, so in other words, it's like a hypersonic missile, because think about this, America invests so much in infiltrating other countries. Remember, it say he's a proud man and need to keep it at home. Going back to Habakkuk, he's a proud man, right? So they spend so much money on technology, on predator drones, on tactical gear for their foot soldiers to go in, right? Because they infiltrate countries like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Sudan, Egypt, Iraq, countries that don't really have any nuclear capability. But what happened when they tried to go to Syria? What's the name? Assad and your Putin. Hey, you mind if I can borrow some of your guns? We got you. And then all of a sudden, that's when it really started for Russia becoming more of an enemy to America, because they was clamping down on them trying to take over the entire Middle East, right? So pretty much what I'm saying is, America don't have an anti-defense missile system. America's gonna be obliterated off the face of the earth. But because their pride has deceived them, no one will think to hit America. But Russia, like, we don't care. That's why in the article, what he said, us nor our enemies have nowhere to run. So it's going to be a lose-lose situation for them, but a win-win for us, because it comes to be the destruction of their society and the resurrection, the insurrection of the kingdom of heaven for the Hebrew Israelites. So let's get back to the biblical phrases. Now, going back to it being shot from one end of the earth to another. Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 13 through 18. For strong is the right hand that bendeth the bow. What was the bow? The silo. Remember that they used the silo to turn. The silo, that's the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp. Let it be the missile. It shall not miss. It shall not miss. Which goes back to the Heavenly Father and his angels, also the ones that's going to be directing the trajectory of these ICBMs. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Now you see the word bow, arrow, end of world. What? Because it's a parable. So what he saw was a ICBM. This is what this is Esdras. Esdras is Ezra in the Old Testament. This is the same individual. They just changed it. They changed the spelling of it differently. It's the same person. So Esdras is Ezra. So what Esdras saw was an ICBM being shot from one end of the earth to another. All he can envision was a bow and arrow. Understand what I'm saying? Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. So he's talking about the trajectory, how the ICBM goes into orbit, links up with the satellite, gets the longitude and latitude or the GPS, the global positioning system, get the GPS, longitude and latitude, and then it starts to descend on this target. That's how it works. So that's what it says, the plagues shall not return back to the earth, right? That's what it's talking about. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. It didn't say nothing about fire being at the end of the arrow. So it's talking about the missile, the ICBM. Okay? Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Because once you shoot a bow and arrow, once you shoot a bullet, once you let off a missile, you can't suspend that. You can't suspend that. You know? It's like flying an airplane. You can't just, hey, can you just drop me off over there? No. You can't do that. You can't just stop in mid-flight. You have to find a destination for you to land properly. So that's what it's the same thing. Once the missile shot off, that's it. And then another thing too, Russia. Let's say Russia, there's no one there at the commands to do a counterattack, but America's going to send an ICBM to Russia. They got something known as a dead man switch. So even if Russia gets hit, it will automatically have all its missiles going to the direction of whatever country it was that let the missiles off. That's bad. So they still have a defense with an offense. This is defense, not defense. This is defense. This is Micah chapter 5, verse 15. I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen such as they have not heard. Exactly. I mean, they're not thinking about being consumed while they stand upon their feet. They're not thinking about the society and the world that they're living in right now is going to be like a third world country, a fourth world country, which America technically is, for technicality. Really, America is one polished turd, but, you know, I digress. Right. Going back, 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Woe means destruction, destruction, destruction. The beginning of sorrows and great mournings. The beginning of famine and great death. The beginning of wars. And the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So even though, like I said, we know that the ICBMs are coming, but there are so many more things that must happen prior to that. The beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, race wars as well, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Right? So the earth before overflowed with water. This time it's going to be overflowed with fire. But only certain portions of the earth. Hearken. But like you said, what was me who will save you? It's the second chapter 3, verse 16. Verse 6 through 13, forgive me. Whereby the world that then was being overflowed with water perished, but the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store. So America is reserved unto fire, right? But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men, destruction of ungodly men. So that's who this destruction is coming for. Even though Ezra saw, he said, "What was me? What was me? Who will save me in that day?" Right? Beautiful. Zechariah 12:9. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. Right, even 2/3 of our people. But though hand join the hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. Verse 8. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. So 1,000 years to us, one day to the Lord. So he on a whole other time frame. So slavery that happened to us, what, over 500, 600 some years ago, that was like 12 hours ago. So imagine one of your beloved ones was put into a coma because some drunk idiot had hit them when they were driving. You heard it 12 hours ago. You mean to tell me you mean to tell me you're gonna be cool 12 hours later now? The Lord seeing what happened to his people. So 1,000 years to us is one day to him. So the Lord remembers. But the thing is, he said that the Lord is long suffering towards us, rather that we should repent than perish. So when he said, what was me, repent means what? Turn back from your sins. So you turn back from your sins, you come back to the Lord, but you got to be Israelite first. And you have to have been predestined from the beginning. You can't just jump on and say, oh, I'm going to be saved or I want to be saved. It don't work like that. Are you one of the sheep of his flock, of his pasture? That's what it stems from. Get back to it. Verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth and also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. The works, the elements, your body consists of elements. All of those minerals you're taking in your multivitamins, all of those are elements. Calcium, selenium, copper, iron, even colloidal silver, colloidal gold. You can even use that to help purify your body, alkaline your body, right? So even you, your car, your phone, all the jewels, all of the accessories, the clothes, the house, everything's going to be burnt up. Everything, right? Now, this is the next verse. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So knowing this is to happen, we're supposed to be in a different wavelength from all the people in the world. Because their conversation isn't thinking about the near future. Because before we can get to the pleasantries of the near future, through much tribulation shall we enter into the kingdom of heaven. That's why we're more than willing to give all this up and suffer on this side so that we can gain YAHAWASHI and get a crown put upon our head. Right? By the foolishness of preaching. Looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of God, Yahweh, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be resolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, not all, we, according to his promise, that goes back to Israel, Romans the 9th chapter, the first verse to the 4th verse. All right, concerning his promise. Look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. So a new heaven and a new earth that dwell in righteousness will be guys based under the guise of what? The Bible. Because it will be righteous. It will be according to the law. Okay? And now see, like I said, that's an aspect that's being brought up again. But the reason why I brought this up because they're putting Satan 2 into is combat ready. So we're further there. Then I just uploaded an article with Crunch Time or Crunch, some fitness company. They not have it to where you can get access to the facility just by waving the palm of your hand over it. So as you can see, we're getting closer and closer to that chip talk, to that MOTB talk, to that charagma talk. All right. I also saw an article where it says, forgot your Medicaid or chip. So I mean, they're gradual. It's called gradualism. They're gradually putting it out there. It's gonna become a time where they're gonna make it mandatory to where they're gonna want everybody to get it in order for you to participate in society, right? So yeah, we know that's coming too. But I have to speak on the current events as well. So again, back. I want to talk about the BRICS really quick. Now, a lot of you may not know, but the BRICS, they have more allies now from who used to be allies in America. Now they have Iran. If you know what BRICS is, all right, you got something as the IMF. You go out of the country, let's say you go to Mexico, right? You want to convert your dollars over to pesos, I think they call it pesos, right? Pesos. When you do that through the IMF, International Monetary Fund. All right? It's an international financial advisory or some kind of system that's been made up, which not Ronald Reagan. John F. Kennedy wanted to destroy us, so they assassinated him. Like, nah, we're not keeping the people as slaves to us because it's used for debt. Right? So, let me read this real quick. The brother Naquan dropped Sirach 39 and 16. It's a good one. All the works of the Lord are exceeding good, and whatsoever he commandeth shall be accomplished in due season. Facts. Who has ever rejected the Lord's will or come against his will? That goes back to what is that? That's in Romans the 9th chapter, right? And I got this article right here. Juan Paul. Will BRICS smash the US dollar? Right? And it goes on to say, let's get good. This was the decision of the BRICS, which is the acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So what is the acronym? You hear NBA, that's an acronym. National Basketball Association. You hear NFL, that's an acronym. National Football League. You hear GMS, that's an acronym. It's a Great Millstone. All right, that's what an acronym is. So BRICS is an acronym, and each letter of the word BRICS, B-R-I-C-S, represents a country that's a part of it. All right, so read it again. This was the decision of BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, who formed their alliance to challenge U.S. political and economic dominance, to induct, meaning to bring in, 6 new countries into their group. Argentina, right? It's another northern country. Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. Now Saudi Arabia, that's the big. I think the biggest distributor or partner that have in oil is with Saudi Arabia, and they use American dollar had a great staple in the oil because it was known as the petrodollar. The petrodollar came about around the 1970s when Henry Kissinger pretty much got rid of the gold standard. Because everyone back then you would have gold, and they said, "Hey, we'll give you X amount of dollars for your gold." This is like before 1933, I think, or something like that. X amount of dollars before the gold for your gold. Then when they tried to go back and get their gold, the gold standard was gone, so they kept the gold. And then they made you people use dollars. They pimped everybody, man. Did the same thing with Saudi Arabia. Hey, we'll hold all your gold. Here you go, X amount of dollars. When they wanted to come and get their gold, that's when they stated that the gold standard was done with. Henry Kissinger did that, if I'm not mistaken. So now all these countries are like, yeah, you've been effing us over since for the longest. So let's go back to the 70s, man. Anyhow. One way the BRICS hope to achieve its goal is to undermine the foundation of U.S. power, the dollar's global reserve currency status. Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva called for BRICS nations to create their own currency, while India is pushing to have its trading partners, including Russia, trade in Indian rupees rather than U.S. dollars. Woo. China and other BRICS countries have also reportedly taken steps to explore using gold instead of dollars for international trade. So let me get this straight. So this right here is like this. The Titanic is sinking. All the countries' leaders are out there in the waters. And there's a boat. It's a boat only for all of the oligarchs, only for all of the conglomerate, the upper echelon, and all of the nation. America's the last one to try and get on the boat. As they put their head on the boat, somebody snapped their hand away. That's what's happening to America right now. America's out on its own in the depths of the ocean drowning. That's what you call, what they call it. Man, I swear, man, these devils are so bright. Think about this: when you're born, right? You have when you're born, you have a birth certificate. When you think about transportation, all right. Whenever you have a bill, right? If something comes off a boat to a dock, they have something known as a berth, B-E-R-T-H, and that the berth or a bill of lading lets you know everything that's come off that ship, right? So anything that come off a ship, they give you a birth certificate, B-E-R-T-H. When you're born, your mother's giving a birth certificate, B-I-R-T-H, because you passed through your mother's canal and you are now cargo because you're here on U.S. soil. So the day of your birth, you now become a product of America because your mother gives them a birth certificate and signs you over to the government. So as soon as you're born, that birth certificate makes you government property. But I never tell you that. Because it's all money goes back to water, cash flow, right? Whenever they have they want to get rid of, but they want to make some kind of return on it, they call it a liquidation, right? Think about that, y'all. Think about another word for money. They call it currency. What's another way of calling a flowing body of water? A current. So it all goes back, the money always goes back to the water, right? But anyhow, the reason why I brought all that up, because America's going to be drowning in their own debt. Going back to that thick clay and Habakkuk 2. Woe to them that are laden with thick clay. So imagine you mixing water and mud. You out there in quicksand damn near, you know what I'm saying? Anyhow. All right, I'm going to read this last little bit of the article and I'm going to get back to the scriptures. After then, President Richard Nixon severed the link between the dollar. I ain't even read this front of the article. I just read the first portion. Now listen here. I wasn't lying, was I? After then, President Richard Nixon severed the link between the dollar and gold in 1971. Henry Kissinger negotiated a deal with Saudi Arabia where YAHAWASHI now shot by QADASH as my witness. I didn't even know this was in the article, y'all. I didn't. In exchange for U.S. Let me read it again. Henry Kissinger negotiated a deal with Saudi Arabia where, in exchange for U.S. diplomatic and military support, Saudi Arabia will use dollars for its dealing in the international oil market. The petrodollar is the backbone of the dollar's reserve currency status. Early this year, Saudi Arabia signed a deal with Brazil to accept Brazil's currency instead of dollars for oil purchases. And Saudi Arabia signed similar deals with other BRICS nations. It will hasten the end of the dollar's reign as reserve currency. Koholoyim like Yahawah, SHAM, YAHAWASHI, SHAM, QADASH. The reason why I say that, because the way America was built, all right, America was built off of fair trade. It was built off of rape, robbery, and murder. So what made you think it was going to go on forever? That's similar to King David. I speak as a man. King David slaughtered and killed all those heathens. The Lord said, I can't build this kingdom with you because you have too much blood on your hands. So he built the kingdom with who? King Solomon. He saw your entire kingdom was built off of blood. And the Lord said, shed not blood, because blood defileth the land. But if blood defileth the land, then it can't be cleansed except by the blood of him that shed it. So Esau, your nation is not going to go on forever. You're going to have to pay for that blood that you shed. James chapter 5, verse 1 through 6. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, because they got rich off of hardcore bondage. And your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. Rust. So they're saying America doesn't have that same value as it used to. It's like, hey, you know, you was in the world, you had that chain, that rusty chain, you rode it, you know, pop sometimes. Yeah, that's how they treat America. And the rest of them shall be a witness against you. You shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You have heaped churches together for the last days. The money they get together is for us. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crying. And the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabbath. So the Lord hear our cries, man. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he does not resist you. Right. So our people to this day still don't resist you, and all you do is kill the unjust. You killed the just and condemned them. Going back to Ryan, what's his name? Ryan Palmer or Palmer, I forgot his name, whatever last name. How he went inside that Dollar General, shot the junior high woman in the whip, shot the Jake that was working there, and another Jake tried to escape. He shot him and said he wanted to kill niggas. And he also said he said Machine Gun Kelly, Eminem was on his list because they wanted to be like niggas. So they were calling them wiggers, but he used to end the N-word, right? Then they said this man was mentally ill. He got Baker acted. So how the hell was he able to go legally buy those guns? It's America, man. The mystery of Babylon, great. And you think about this, ain't no Jakes run up in the Roman Catholic Church shooting up priests. Ain't no Jake run up in Target. All right, Michael shooting up Edomites. It's only Edomites running up in our establishments, killing us. They're going to show you who Esau is. Y'all have a perpetual hatred towards her. Ain't no Chinaman doing that. Ain't no Saudi Arabian doing that. Ain't no Edomite doing that. Only Edomites doing that, right? Right? Nonetheless, though, I have a couple more precepts and I'm going to close out. Second Ezra chapter 9, verse 5 through 8. But like as all that is made in the world had the beginning and the end is manifest. So the end is manifest. The MOTB is already here. The race wars are stirring Jake getting aroused up. All right. The new thing on the earth, a woman shall compass a man. That bull job already coming out. And the next thing you know, the elect of the Lord shall be saved and shall be sealed. So that's what we out here for. A chance of salvation. Second Edges 96. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works. By your works. You don't work, you don't eat. And by faith, faith without works is dead, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So the Lord has a select number that's been sanctified from the beginning, and that's what the Lord's going to save. So with that being said, please edify man, stay in the spirit, no fear, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing, stay humble, remain diligent. YAHAWAH, shalom.